Let's turn to Taiwan. Rescue efforts are underway after a magnitude 7.4 earthquake there. At least 9 people were killed, more than 1,000 others injured in the strongest quake to hit Taiwan in 25 years. More than 100 people are understood to be trapped in collapsed tunnels along the coastline, and around 30 buildings are reported to have collapsed altogether. Our correspondent Shaima Khalil reports.
On Taiwan's east coast, the rescue operation continues in the most challenging of circumstances. Teams are searching for those still trapped, but so much is in the way. The huge destruction and the dozens of tremors that followed.
I'm afraid of aftershocks, and I don't know how bad the shaking will be. And then the house is already a mess. How do you get in? There's no way to get in.
In Hualien, the worst-hit city, some people spent the night outdoors as the aftershocks continued. This is the moment the earthquake hit, as residents were getting ready to start their day.
The earthquake woke me up, and we just stayed around here, across from the night market. It's terrible. This earthquake is huge.
Homes and businesses buckled, leaving whole floors underground. This partially collapsed building, now left tilted and unstable, threatens more damage with the continuing tremors. But in Taiwan's rugged mountainous east coast, it was the landslides that unleashed the most terror. The earthquake caused hundreds of them, bringing huge rocks tumbling down valleys, destroying roads and railway lines, and blocking access to the area. This beautiful landscape turned into a scene of horror. And for those still trapped in collapsed tunnels and roads, that horror is not over yet. Shaima Khalil, BBC News, Tokyo.
Let's speak to Na Pham, a filmmaker who is in Taipei. Na, it's good to have you with us again. Now, since we last spoke, what is the mood there? And particularly now that there's still this rescue operation going on, is that getting in the way of feeling like there's some closure there and the ability to move on?
Yes, I think the people here feel quite anxious about the rescue operation that is going on in Hualien. Now, if you know Taiwan, it rains a lot in Taiwan, and Hualien is not exception. So today, I think that people expect light rain there. And with the terrain in Hualien, it's going to be very difficult for rescue workers to get into the areas that people are trapped in the rubble. And also in mountainous areas, is also with fallen rocks. There's another danger for people to access the area, to put themselves in that risk of being squashed by the rocks as well. So people in Taipei, I think, feel a great sympathy for the people in Hualien. They also want the government to accelerate the efforts to look for the people who are still missing. Besides that, I think the life in Taipei has returned to normal. Walking around the city, you'll see that nothing changed. You know, people don't talk much about the earthquake. They've been very resilient for many reasons, and they say so in face of this disaster.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You did say that yesterday, that you were really struck by the resilience of the people around you. Clearly, that's still the case as the aftermath becomes clearer. They are saying that this is the worst quake in 25 years. Is that registering in people's minds?
Definitely. People of older generations yesterday all talked about how they witnessed the earthquake back in 1999. I spoke to a man who actually was in Taichung when the earthquake happened back then. And he said that it was a huge shock. Compared to it, he said nothing really happened yesterday. He said that, people in Taiwan have great experience dealing with such disaster. And that's why they feel calmer. And also, there's been training, there's been efforts by the authorities to fortify buildings here and create a very effective procedure to deal with disasters such as earthquakes. So luckily, there was no major damages to the city compared to the last time.
Let's go to Hualien, where our correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes is there to speak to us. And of course, it's a city close to the quake's epicenter. Rupert, it's good to have you on. Now, we talked about those rescue efforts earlier in the program. Could you tell us what more we know about them?
Yeah, I can. I mean, here in the middle of Hualien, you can see what's going on behind me here. They're shoring up this building that was partially brought down by the quake yesterday. Very sadly, someone died inside that building because of the quake. They were trapped inside there yesterday. Here in Hualien, the search and rescue operation has really come to an end. Everybody's accounted for. 9 people are dead. They're now securing the buildings and beginning the cleanup. And it's been remarkable to see how quickly this city is getting back to business. But outside the city, there is a huge search and rescue operation going on in the mountains. And we've got some new figures just in the last hour. The authorities are now saying 42 people missing, but the number of people trapped up there in the valleys, not far away from here, has leapt from around 100 to they're now saying over 600. 646 people now confirmed as trapped. Probably that's because they've been able to contact people as the cell phone network has come back to life, and they're calling people and finding they're trapped in hotels and in villages up in the mountains. But that is a huge leap in the number of people trapped and a huge issue to try and get to them and make sure they're okay.
Yeah, that's a really high figure. We were actually just speaking to someone in Taipei who was telling us that people are watching and following this. What are the conversations you've been having there on day 2 of all of this?
Well, I think it's really the sense of shock still. Many people, especially if you're under 30 years old, you've never experienced anything like this before, because the last time they had a big earthquake like this in Taiwan was back in 1999. So, you know, when you see pictures, you may have seen, people talking on TV saying, I was really scared, I didn't know what to do, it was absolutely terrifying. I think that's a very, very normal reaction because people are not used to an earthquake of this size, and even in Taipei yesterday, it was really, really a big shake. And the second thing is, however much Taiwan is in an earthquake zone, that people say they're used to earthquakes, when a big one like this hits, it is absolutely terrifying and traumatizing for everybody who experiences it.
Right, Rupert, thank you for that. And of course, we'll have more updates for you